just switch on the video cameras so that I can see you all. Okay, yeah, now I am able to see some of the students. Onik is visible, Yog is visible, Kumkum is seen, Vanshika, Priyanshu, Abhilasha, Anshika, Devashish, Viditya, Nitesh, Ananya, and Saksham, Shaurya, Ayushi, okay. And I request all the other students also to please switch on your video feed. I hope I am able to, you people are able to listen to me clearly. There is no distortion or disturbance. In case you agree, give me a thumbs up. In case you are able to hear me properly, give me a thumbs up. Okay, since I am alone in this conference hall and I am not likely to infect anybody with this COVID-19 protocol, I will be removing my mask, okay? Okay. So, how is everybody? A very good morning to all the students. I have got this opportunity to interact with young students after a very long period of time. So, I think it's going to be a really exciting and fulfilling next 40 odd minutes with you all. And wherein we will be covering certain things of interest to both of us, right? Okay. So, I think we are ready to go ahead. And I request all the other students also whose video feed is not seen to please switch on the video feed so that I can also see you all. Shrishti, Samarth, Himanshu, Anshika, Ayushi Goyal, Saksham. I request all of you to please switch on their video feeds. Okay. 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 Anurag, Srishti, Deepak, Harshit, and okay. So Mayank, Anshika, Manisha. The names I am taking, I request these guys to just switch on their video feeds. Please don't be shy of me, and I am not going to take you away. Okay. So I think now we are ready for the webinar proper, and now I shall be beginning with the aim of the today's lecture. So I hope everybody is able to see what is flashed on the view file. Okay. 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 So first of all, Jai Hind and good morning to all the dynamic young students and esteemed faculty of the Marshall School. I am Captain Sachin from 4th Battalion, the Maratha Light Infantry. I will be conducting this webinar and will be with you for the next 40 odd minutes. At the outset, on the behalf of whole Indian Army, I would like to extend best wishes for the 75th Independence Day to all the young students who are a witness to this webinar. Moving forward to the aim proper, the aim of this webinar is to acquaint the students with career opportunities in the Indian Army. Now, we will be witnessing a small video which will introduce you all with the life of an officer in the Indian Army in a nutshell. So, shall we proceed? Are you ready to look at the video of around 90 minutes or so? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What are you looking at? What are you dreaming of? What are you hoping for? A bigger life? A better life? Or a life worth remembering? Truth is, you can study all you want and learn nothing. You can work very, very hard and never bear the fruit of your labor. You can try and try and try and never be good enough. Or you can keep watching. Because the next few minutes will show you a brief glimpse, not of the life you could lead, but of the one you should have. You don't spend this life doing things. You do things to earn it. This is a life where every day isn't every day. This is a career at India's most exciting workplace, the life of an officer of the Indian Army. A life less ordinary.
So now, dear students, for ease of understanding, the webinar will be conducted in two major subjects, wherein in part 1, we will be discussing as to why Indian Army as a career, and in part 2, we shall discuss the various means and entries which offers a chance to become an officer in the Indian Army. Okay, so Indian Army has the reputation of being the most respected and noblest organization of our country. It is the instrument of state which affords the government to deal with any foreign aggression and maintain the sovereignty of the state. There are multidimensional factors which inspire the youth to become a part of this fascinating and noble profession. The Indian Army functions on the basic ethos like spirit de corps, selfless service, valor, honesty, discipline, integrity, and forthrightness. Therefore, Indian Army continues to inspire the youth to live a life less ordinary. The safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of the men you command comes next. Your own ease, comfort, and safety comes last, always and every time. The Chetwood Credo was given by Field Marshal Sir Philip Chetwood. He was the Commander-in-Chief of Indian Army from 1930 to 1935. This credo is the essence of life of an officer in the Indian Army. It conveys that nation comes first, then comes the troops we command, and in the end comes our own welfare and well-being. This is the reason the officer-man relationship in the Indian Army is known to be the strongest. Now I'll take a minute to just acquaint you all with the rank structure which is prevailing in the Indian Army. The enrollment in the army starts from a sepoy. He graduates to become a Nayak. After passing certain requisite tests, he is promoted to the rank of Havaldar. And after approximately 20 years of service and on passing laid down benchmarks, he is promoted to the rank of a junior commissioned officer, that is a Naib Subedar, and eventually to the rank of a Subedar. The appointment of Subedar Major of a battalion or regiment is very prestigious. The Subedar Major is responsible for the overall adamant morale of other ranks while ensuring a transparent interface with the hierarchy. As an officer, on getting commissioned from various academies, the first appointment is as a lieutenant. After 2 years of service, the officer gets promoted to the rank of captain, which I am holding as of now, as you can see. On completion of 6 years of service, the officer is appointed as a major and eventually to the rank of lieutenant colonel on completion of 13 years of service. The best of the officers are given the responsibility to command a battalion or a regiment. On successful completion of command and after tenanting some staff appointments, the officers get promoted to the rank of brigadier, wherein they get to command a brigade. The next rank in the hierarchy is of a major general, wherein the officer is tasked to command a division. As per the performance of the officer in his service, he can further be promoted to the rank of lieutenant general and eventually appointed as the chief of the army staff. Now, I would urge the students to take a moment and ask themselves a question. What do you want to become? Indian Army is without a doubt the most exciting workplace in India. The variety of assignments makes it the dynamic workplace it is. It is also the perfect example of unity in diversity, wherein people from all parts of the country come together to uphold the sanctity of our national borders and sovereignty of the state. I would now endeavour to introduce a few arms and services in our organization which would interest you to undertake this adventurous journey. The infantryman. The infantry is the arm which defines the result of any war. It is known as the queen of battle. It is the biggest arm of the Indian Army. The infantryman has the privilege of discovering and manning the most serene and operationally important areas on our borders. The spirit of belongingness and the will to undertake the most daring and exciting tasks is the hallmark of an infantryman. It is one arm where the sense of regimentation is very strong and soldiers derive motivation from their Naam, Namak and Nishan. Now, the students who might be looking forward to becoming an engineer, there is an opportunity in Indian Army as well. The Corps of Engineers is one of the most important combat support arms. Its role is defined by factors such as mobility to own forces, wherein they have the potential to construct roads, tracks and bridges in the most rugged terrain. Counter mobility to enemy forces, wherein they delay the movement of enemy forces by the means of certain equipments at their disposal, and survivability, wherein they can install water points and protection against any nuclear, biological and chemical attacks. Therefore, the Corps of Engineers offers excellent professional satisfaction to youth having a technical bent of mind and drive to lead men in combat. Communication remains one of the most important aspects of all military operations. The professionally competent officers and soldiers of the Corps of Signals ensure that there is a seamless transfer of data and effective communication. It offers endless opportunities to youngsters having innovative thought process and drive for technical excellence. In today's day and age, where technology is taking center stage, it is mandatory to leverage the technical expertise of our youth. Artificial intelligence can be optimally used to integrate the requirements of the armed forces in an efficient manner. There is a lot of unexplored potential in the domain of information warfare as well. Therefore, it calls for young and bright minds like you to subscribe to this exciting opportunity to embark on this fulfilling journey. I will again request all the students to kindly switch on the video feeds because we are not able to see you all, and it's a very humble request because I would appreciate if I am able to see all of you trying to absorb as much as possible. Yeah, thanks a lot. So, moving forward, I am sure a lot of students would be looking forward to becoming pilots or joining the aviation industry. So, Indian Army offers an opportunity in that domain as well, wherein the Army aviation is a very popular service in the Army. It has both operational and logistic support in its charter of duties. The Army aviation offers excellent opportunities to individuals who are willing to rule the skies while operating in the most challenging environment in the world. The Indian Army offers the best training infrastructure to its aviators to sharpen their skills to undertake sorties in the most exciting places available on the horizon. The proud aviators of the Indian Army have the distinction of flying at the highest altitude on the planet. This highly skilled resource is amply respected in the civil aviation industry as well, which opens multiple avenues post-retirement for aviators. So anybody who is willing to join the aviation industry or is interested in becoming a pilot, a combat pilot or a fighter jet pilot, so this is the opportunity you need to grab. Okay, moving forward, logistics support. So as we all know that Indian Army is the third largest army in the world and it has a strength of 1.3 million standing people. So logistics support to sustain a 1.3 million strong army is a very challenging task. It needs excellent man management skills and immaculate inventory control to cater for such a diverse organization. Therefore, highly skilled and specifically trained leaders are required in logistics plan of the army. As also, Army caters for the professional growth of its soldiers by subscribing to various professional degree courses at the most prestigious academic institutes in the country and abroad. The best of the management institutes takes a cue from the model followed by the Indian Army, and very commonly it is brainstormed by top management leaders during their case studies. The variety of inventory from ammunition, clothing, vehicles, fuel to rations and so on, it is a very deliberately planned setup. Hence, it ensures excellent job satisfaction and professional learning to the subunit commanders. What is important to note here is that there are a lot of opportunities which are available in the Indian Army for officers who are willing to undertake some professional courses at the best of the institutes which are available. For example, somebody wants to do a MTech from IIT Delhi, Indian Army caters for the same. Somebody wants to do a management course from IIM Ahmedabad, or for that matter any other top grade college of India and abroad, the Indian Army has been able to cater for the same. So that is something which you must look forward to and must exploit the opportunity. Now, gunners. So artillery is known as the god of war. Now it is called the god of war because it has the inherent devastating firepower. As you would have seen in certain movies wherein big guns are being used to bombard some mountains in order to help the infantry to move ahead. So the concept of close fire support to infantry during operations of war demands leaders to be absolutely certain about their plans and avoid any kind of human errors. The precision of heavy caliber fire and high standards of technical expertise of each member of a fire unit ensures overall domination over the enemy. Therefore, it is absolutely essential to master the skills of one's weapon and equipment to become a proud gunner. The gunners were instrumental in the Kargil War of 1999, wherein they demoralized the enemy with their relentless pinpoint engagements on enemy positions, which assisted the infantry to mop out the enemy and come out as victorious. As I'm sure all of you would have seen in certain movies which has been made on Kargil War 1999. In fact, today another movie called Shershaah has been released on the open platform, wherein you will be able to see certain action from the Kargil. So in that particular operation, gunners played a very important role, wherein they bombarded the Pakistani intruders who were sitting on those heights. So you can get an opportunity to join them in case you get through. Okay. So moving ahead, I would like to ask the students, how many of you want to become a doctor? Anybody? Please raise your hand if anybody wants to become a doctor. Only one, only Ishita wants to become a doctor, nobody else. Manya also wants to become a doctor. Manya single. Khushi does not want to become, Srishti does not want to become, and Kumkum also does not want to become. Anshika does not want to become. So I'm sure you must be having certain goals for yourself. So for the students who want to become a doctor, Indian Army offers excellent opportunities. The Army Medical Corps is responsible for providing medical cover to all ranks of the Indian Army. The Corps has the best of medical professionals and specialists who deal with all kinds of routine medical proceedings as well as contingencies. There are various entries to join the Army Medical Corps as well as military nursing services for the medical graduates. The Indian Army extends excellent opportunities to talented doctors and nursing professionals while ensuring periodic opportunities of professional growth through respective exams. Again, I would request the students to kindly switch on their video feeds so that I am able to see, because I am not sure whether I am able to transmit what I want to transmit unless I am able to see you all. It's only a matter of 30 minutes, so please bear with me, and I request that please I can see if all of you, it will be great. Okay. Yeah. So the doctor in the Indian Army get exposure to live combat situations as well, wherein they have been proving their competence time and again. The doctors in the Indian Army are authorized non-practicing allowance up and above all the pays and allowances in lieu of their services. The Armed Forces Medical College Pune is one of the best medical colleges in the country with a highly competitive entrance exam. Hence, aspiring doctors must try to avail this opportunity with the best of their potential. Okay, so moving forward, how many of you are fascinated by tanks? I hope you people have seen tanks somewhere in Dehradun. So, do you people like tanks? In movies also you would have seen probably, right? Okay, so anybody who would like to ride a tank or become a cavalier, or for that matter has interest in horse riding, so that is one opportunity which is provided by Indian Army, wherein you can join the Armored Corps and try your hand at these beasts which are available, right? So the Indian Army is one of the most oldest armies of the world. It has the distinction of having one of the 3 cavalry units in the entire world. I come again, only there are 3 cavalry units or horse-mounted units in the entire world, and one of them is part of Indian Army. So that is something which we must be proud of. Okay, so it has the cavalry because it attracts youth by the virtue of its historical charm and legacy. because it has that historical charm and that ancestral era wherein people used to fight wars on horses. So that kind of charm it has been able to sustain. Individuals who are keen horse riders get ample exposure and infrastructure to hone their skills. It is one of the most exciting drives of a tank one can ever imagine. So the variety of tasks and capabilities of a tank is beyond any comprehension. Therefore, youngsters having a sense of adventure, fascination towards tanks and interest in horse riding must try to become part of this exciting arm of the Indian Army. Okay. I hope you are able to follow whatever I am trying to tell you all. Give me a thumbs up in case you are with me. Okay, great. So now moving ahead, I'm sure since you people are staying in Dehradun and Uttarakhand and Himachal, these are the places which are generally the home of all the adventure activities in India. So I'm sure a lot of you all will be looking forward to taking on certain adventures in life. And for that matter, Indian Army again comes up with a lot of opportunities wherein you can try your hand at various adventure activities, as you can see on the viewfoil. So Indian Army is renowned as the cradle of adventure enthusiasts. The culture of adventure is an inherent part of the overall scheme of things. The Indian Army has been producing world-class adventure professionals who have represented our nation with distinction at all international platforms. Therefore, individuals with an initial threshold in any adventure activity must enroll and exploit their talent with the best of training infrastructure available in the country. Okay, so since we have covered till adventures, now I am sure a lot of you would be aware that Indian Army gets deployed in foreign assignments as well. Anybody who has some idea about what kind of foreign assignments can be given to Indian Army, wherein you get posted to places like maybe Israel or maybe Lebanon or maybe certain other places. So I'll be covering the same in the next slide. As you can see on the viewfoil, the scope of foreign assignments in the Indian Army. Now, Indian Army is one of the largest contributors in the world to the United Nations peacekeeping mission. So the role of United Nations peacekeeping mission is to ensure that the countries wherein there is turmoil and where there is internal aggression going on between certain groups, there these peacekeeping forces get deployed and do their job in maintaining the overall peace of the location. So again, as part of Indian Army contingent, you might get an opportunity to go abroad and serve there. So the best of the leaders get an opportunity to rub shoulders with the military leaders of various competent armies of the world. So various armies of the world also send their contingents to the UN to become part of this peacekeeping forces. So you get an exposure to work with armies of different countries, and you get a lot of exposure and understanding of the same. So that's a very good opportunity you must look forward to. Now, these deputations are highly respected for the kind of humanitarian aid we extend to the less privileged and do our bit for the humanity. So that is also a very noble thing to do. Therefore, you can get yourself associated with certain goodwill projects of the army while performing your basic duties. Okay, so since recently the Tokyo Olympics also got concluded, and you all would have seen, it's in news these days that our athletes have been able to give their best performance in Olympics till date. So it goes without saying that the role of Indian Army in promoting sports has been second to none in the entire country. And the Indian Army has been a major source of world-class athletes and sportsmen for our nation since pre-independence era also. Now, in the recently concluded Tokyo Olympics, the world witnessed the high standards of training and competence of Indian soldiers, wherein first Olympic individual gold medal in track and field was won by Subedar Neeraj Chopra in javelin throw. I hope you all people are aware. You would have seen on news and all, and you must be using social media, so you would have seen. And as many as 16 athletes in the Indian contingent were participating in Tokyo Olympics were from the Indian Army. I mean, out of the total contingent which had gone to the Tokyo Olympics, 16 athletes were from the Indian Army. So you can now imagine the kind of support and the kind of infrastructure for sports which is available in the army. So anybody of you who is good at a particular sport and who feels that he has the potential to represent the country someday. So that is one opportunity you people must undertake and try to gain maximum out of it, right? Okay. Also, names like Milkha Singh, Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore, Pan Singh Tomar, Vijay Kumar, and so on. There are so many athletes who have made our nation proud and who were promoted and given the opportunity by the Indian Army at the nascent levels. Okay. So another role of Indian Army is aid to civil authority. Apart from the primary mandate of maintaining the sanctity of the national borders, the Indian Army is an instrument at the disposal of the government to be employed in aid to civil authority. The Indian Army has been proactively fulfilling its duties in testing times like natural disasters. As you can see, a number of floods, earthquakes and other natural calamities come wherein urgent and quick relief is required, so Indian Army is sprung into action immediately. So that is one task which is given to Indian Army, which it has been doing proactively. Apart from that, in recent times, like the COVID-19 pandemic, wherein the situation became grave during the second wave, Indian Army was very proactive in extending the medical facilities that it had to even to civilians, or for that matter to provide oxygen cylinders or life-saving equipment to all the civilians wherein it was possible. So the Indian Army is always in a ready state to extend any assistance in tough situations where things go beyond the control of state or police agencies of the state. Okay. Now, since we have covered till aid to civil authority, I would like to ask a lot of people who are attending this webinar that what are the places you would like to visit in your life. I'm sure a lot of you would be fond of traveling and going to new places. So the Indian Army extends a unique privilege of working in the most diverse and untouched places in the country. The workplace includes the most scenic as well as operationally fulfilling locations. Now, I would request all the students now, what I am going to do is, I'll flash a photograph of a particular place and I expect somebody out of you to just guess the place. So anybody who feels that he knows the place can raise their hand, unmute their mic, say the name of the place and then again mute the mic. Rules of the game are clear? Clear? Okay, so are you ready? Shall I flash the photograph which is there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, anybody? Okay, Vanshika. Yeah, Vanshika. Oh, great. As rightly brought out by Vanshika, it's the Thar Desert. The Indian Army has a very important role to play on the western borders. The deserts have their own charm and peculiarities, which is worth experiencing. You must try to experience the deserts which are available. So, now all of you are ready for the second location to be guessed? Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody? Okay, Kumkum. Kumkum, I think raised the hand first. Yeah, rightly brought out by somebody. I am not able to recognize who said the name, but rightly brought out, it's the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, wherein you get an opportunity to serve in case you get posted to that place. The Andaman Islands is a strategically very important location, not only for the army but for the Air Force as well as the Navy. So it is one of the most beautiful and scenic workplace anyone could think of. Okay, so till now the performance of the students have been very good. You have been able to guess the two photographs. Now I will be trying to make it a little bit tougher. So the next photograph which is going to come, I hope Yug Bhardwaj or Shaurya Dhyani, who is looking a bit perplexed to participate and try to tell me the answer. Okay, are you ready? Okay, yeah, anybody? Okay, Kumkum again. Yeah, Kumkum, go ahead.
Sir, Jammu and Kashmir.
See, the point is mountains are everywhere and similar. That is why it is different. It is difficult to answer. It's a place, I'll give you a hint. It is a place in the northeast of India. Yeah, Manya Singhal.
Arunachal. Pradesh.
Arunachal, okay.
Sir, Assam. Sir, Assam.
Yeah, right. Brought out by somebody. I am not able to recognize who said the name, but rightly brought out, it's the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, wherein you get an opportunity to serve in case you get posted to that place. The Andaman Islands is a strategically very important location, not only for the army but for the Air Force as well as the Navy. So now all of you are ready for the second location to be guessed. Ready?
Yes.
Assam. Okay, so generally you people were on the right lines, and the place from where this photograph has been taken is Gangtok. Okay, so I know this was difficult because mountains look similar in most part of the country, but then this was Gangtok wherein you can get an exposure or an opportunity to serve. Okay, so well done. Now the next one I'll keep it a little simple because this one was a little bit difficult. So I expect all of you to raise your hand before answering, right? Okay, are you ready? Okay. Yeah, anybody? Yeah, Shivanshu Unyal. Onik Mogha also. Yeah, yeah, right. So I am sure all of you would have seen the movie Three Idiots wherein the conclusion was filmed in that area. So this is Leh and Ladakh wherein a lot of army deployment is there, and understood. So now Leh and Ladakh is a place where which has always been one of the top destinations for travelers. One gets to see the real untouched side of this beautiful place while serving in this location. So in case you wish to serve in Leh and Ladakh and go on your bikes from Manali towards Leh Ladakh following the Atal Bihari tunnel which is newly made, you have an opportunity to join the Indian Army. You will get that opportunity. Are you all people with me? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Okay, so ready for the next one? Okay, yeah. Anybody? Oh, great. Great. So I am really glad that most of you are aware of certain kind of locations wherein we serve, and it's a really happy state for me. So as rightly brought out, this is the Siachen Glacier, the highest battlefield in the whole world, where temperatures drop down to very extreme levels. But the soldiers of the Indian Army, officers, and in case you people get commissioned in the Army, you people also will get an opportunity to see the highest battlefield in the world. So that is also one very highly motivational kind of a thing, wherein you can try to join the Army. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Anybody? A hint, this place is very nearby to where you are. No, it's very close by where you are sitting. It's very close by. Manya.
Yes.
Yes. This is Mussoorie. The place which you can see in the photograph is Mussoorie. So I expected all of you to be able to guess this. But then again, since mountains in all parts of the country looks quite similar, so it's not your fault. But I expected somebody to make a wild guess and be able to reach where I wanted to take you. So these were the general places wherein you can get an opportunity to serve in case you join the Indian Army, right? So now I think this is good reason enough to work hard and prepare well, so that once you are in that qualification bracket, so you can become part of this environment, right? Okay, so since these were the things wherein which will interest you. Now further, what interests you more, I will be taking you to that place, right? Okay, so now what Indian Army has to offer. So Indian Army as an organization, first of all, we must understand that Indian Army is not only a job opportunity, it's a way of life, right? It instills a lot of character in you, a lot of discipline, a lot of forthrightness, courage, and those things are there. But at the same time, it pays you very well. It takes care of all your requirements of you, your family, and all kinds of requirements which might be there, right? So we'll be just having a look at what are the pays and allowances, what are the kind of money which you people are going to make in case you join the Indian Army. So the pay and allowances in the Indian Army are a contribution of certain heads which are seen on the viewfoil. First of all, there is a rank pay which you get, and as and when you keep on getting promoted in the service, your rank pay keeps on promoting, right? And this includes rank pay. Apart from the rank pay, there are other emoluments like dearness allowance. As you all know that inflation, महंगाई, which we call in Hindi, is a very important thing these days. So the central government or the Indian Army takes care of that, and as for keeping in view the overall inflation and the kind of situation is there in the market, your dearness allowance is authorized to you, and you are given that up and above your salary, right? Apart from the dearness allowance, there is a military service pay. Military service pay is close to, let's say, 16,000 rupees, which are given up and above your basic pay and other allowances for the service which you are giving in places like Leh and Ladakh, wherein temperatures can be extreme and certain other things may not be very comfortable. So then it gets compensated by a certain amount of money. Apart from that, field allowance in sync with the military service pay. Suppose you are posted at a certain height, for example, let's say 9,000 feet, 12,000 feet, 16,000 feet. So as per the altitude, the amount of money which you are going to make is going to increase, right? So that is also another motivation to stay on altitudes which are higher, so that you can make more money, right? Isn't it? Don't you agree? If you agree, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Ayushi Goyal is not agreeing, but she is saying, okay, fine, I have said, so she has to agree. Okay, fine. So moving ahead, now there are other certain allowances which are there, like transport allowance, which caters for your transport on day-to-day basis. Apart from transport, there is outfit allowance, street maintenance allowance, qualification grants. There are a number of courses or professional things you have to do in army, and once you complete that successfully, you are given a certain amount of money, right? So that is known as the qualification grant. Somebody who joins the aviation, like somebody becomes a pilot in the army, or for that matter in the Air Force, so he or she is authorized to get a flying allowance also, which is purely based on the number of hours you are flying, right? So that is also a very big amount of money, so you can definitely try to become a aviator in the Indian Army, right? Okay. Apart from that, technical pay. Somebody of you might want to do a technical course like a BTech or a BE from certain institute, and then would like to join in with a technical entry. So then you people will be entitled for a technical pay allowance also, right? Okay. Now, apart from the pay and allowances, there are certain other benefits which are available. In the other benefits, while I am sure, how many of you know about the Indian Military Academy which is in Dehradun? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How many of you had seen it while crossing that road which goes from the front of Indian Military Academy? Please give me a thumbs up who all have seen. Okay. So while you must have observed that certain individuals are seen inside the IMA doing certain funny things, which you might be thinking, what are they doing, right? So those are some training related activities which are being undertaken, and the individuals whom you see doing those activities are the cadets which are inside the IMA, and you will be surprised to know that being a cadet only, they are paid close to 56,000 rupees per month while they are undergoing their training. So that is a very good benefit which is available. Apart from that, once you become an officer in the Indian Army, you get exposure to, you get access to best of the clubs throughout India, best of the officer messes which are available, all the facilities which are there are at your disposal. A lot of adventure sports are extended to you and your family in case you want to undertake food in the form of rations, like the person serving in the army are authorized free rations. So you get free rations wherein you can make your food and you don't have to pay for it, right? Okay. Now, as far as leave is concerned, leave is one thing which is very important and which matters to most of us, right? So in the army, you get 60 days of annual leave, that is approximately 2 months of the whole year you can stay on leave, apart from 20 days of casual leave, wherein you can take casual leave for certain other contingencies which might arise, okay? And in case there is a requirement for a medical leave, that is also extended, okay? Now, moving ahead, the encashment of leave up to 300 days, okay? So in total 60 days are authorized in a year for annual leave. So suppose, let's say you are not able to take all those 60 days. Let's say you are able to take only 40 days of leave and 20 days are left. So you can encash that 20 days of leave with your salary. So that is also one option which is available. moving ahead, there is a concept of leave travel concession wherein you are entitled to, moving on by air to certain part of the country once in every 2 years with your whole family, and it is sponsored by the central government or the Indian Army, right? Moreover, 50% concessions on air travel and 40% concessions on train travel is also authorized. Free medical facilities in best of the hospitals, military hospitals, as well as some special specialty hospitals of civil background are also affiliated to the army, right? So you and your family, family's medical expenditures are also covered, right? Subsidized housing. You people are authorized accommodations in cantonments, wherein you can stay in good, healthy and clean environment. Apart from that, there are insurance benefits and housing schemes wherein your life and everything is insured by a very good amount, with paying minimum amount of premium. In case, sorry, like I just mentioned, in case somebody of you wants to do a professional course while being in the army, for example, let's say I want to do MTech in a particular domain from IIT Delhi. So I need to apply for the same, and I will be given 2 years of leave, paid leave, to go do that course and come back. So that is also a very good opportunity which is available, right? Okay. Apart from that, serving in the army, you have certain immunity from arrest from the various police organizations which are there, right? So that is on the behalf of you being serving in the army. The police cannot directly arrest you until there are certain extreme cases which are there, right? Okay. Now there are reserved seats for the children, wherein they can get enrolled in army public school or other schools which are affiliated to the army, right? Okay. So generally these were the benefits which are available, and there are many more which I'll take 1 hour to list all of them, but then broadly these were the benefits which are going to be there in case you manage to join the Indian Army. Now we have completed part 1, now we will be moving to part 2, that I have been able to justify why you should join Indian Army as a career. Now I will be telling you the ways and means how you can join Indian Army as a career, right? With me, everybody? Serving in the army, the police cannot directly arrest you until there are certain extreme cases which are there, right? Okay. Now there are reserved seats for the children, wherein they can get enrolled in army public school or other schools which are affiliated to the army, right? Okay. So generally these were the benefits which are available, and there are many more which I'll take 1 hour to list all of them, but then broadly these were the benefits which are going to be there in case you manage to join the Indian Army. Now we have completed part 1, now we will be moving to part 2, that I have been able to justify why you should join Indian Army as a career. Now I will be telling you the ways and means how you can join Indian Army as a career, right? With me, everybody? Thumbs up? Okay, okay, great. So,
Sir?
Okay, yeah. Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, may I know your name?
Abhishek.
Abhijit. I am Abhishek.
Abhishek.
Abhishek Chamoli. Can I see you? Can you please switch on your video feed? Yeah, Abhishek.
Sir, अगर NCC से करा join तो Indian Army.
Okay, see, Abhi, once I am finished with this presentation, at the end we have a question answer session available, wherein all of you can ask your doubts one by one, right? But just let me complete this, then I'll come back to you, right? Just hold your question for that while. Okay. So now the variety of tasks undertaken by the Indian Army requires professionally sound individuals from all walks of life. Therefore, various entries are available for the recruitment of the leaders from respective fields of expertise. Now, before we get acquainted with various entries for selection, I shall be explaining the nuances of Services Selection Board interview procedure in a summarized manner. So, some of you might be aware that in case you want to become an army officer, you need to clear an interview procedure which is called the Services Selection Board interview procedure, and wherein you are expected to report to the selection center on the first day at a specific time mentioned in your call letter. Vehicle along with a guide is provided at the railway station to take the candidates to the selection center. Necessary documentation is done by the officials at the selection center, and dormitories are allotted to the candidates. On day 2, stage 1 screening tests are conducted and candidates not selected for further assessment are dropped back to the railway station. On day 3, psychological tests along with interview of some candidates is conducted. On day 4, stage 1 ground test wherein some outdoor activities are organized. And on day 5, the remaining of the ground tests are conducted along with the candidates whose interview was pending, right? So these are the 5 days of testing procedure which happens. Then on the 6th day there is a conference wherein all the officers who have been assessing you, they sit together and they discuss whether you are you have those qualities to be recommended as a army officer for training or not. And post that result, the selected individuals are sent for their medical examinations. Understood till far? Okay, fine. So now I'll be telling you about certain entries which are available. So first of all, the National Defence Academy, which is in Khadagbasla, Pune. Now somebody who wants to join the National Defence Academy, till now it is only for boys, but it is in news that very soon girls are also going to become a part of the National Defence Academy. So I expect girls also to pay attention to this particular slide so that you can join National Defence Academy also apart from the Officers Training Academy in case it is possible, right? So first of all, the education qualification is 10+2. You have to be 12th pass with minimum 60% of marks. The age bracket is between 16.5 to 19 years, and the notification comes twice a year, that is in June and December. So the entrance exam is conducted by the UPSC. In case you clear the written exam, you are called for the Services Selection Board interview, which I just mentioned previously. Once you get recommended through the Services Selection Board, then you go to the medicals. In case you are medically fit, then overall merit at all India level is made, and the individuals who are selected are sent to the National Defence Academy for 3 years of training, right? After 3 years of training at National Defence Academy, you come for 1 year to the Indian Military Academy, so total 4 years of training, and then you get commissioned and you become an officer at the rank of a lieutenant, right? Okay. Now moving forward, the well-known Indian Military Academy of your own city. So in case you want to join the Indian Military Academy, there are 2 entries which are there. First of all, the CDS entry, that is the Combined Defence Service entry. It is also organized by UPSC, wherein you have to do a written exam. First of all, you have to be a graduate, and the age limit has to be between 19 and 24. And in case you qualify the written examination, again you are called for the SSB interview, followed by the medicals, followed by the merit list, and straight to IMA, where you do 18 months of training and you get commissioned as a lieutenant, right? Okay. Another entry available for IMA is the technical graduate course. Let's say somebody is a BTech or a BE or has a technical degree, and he wants to join the IMA, so he can directly fill in an application on the website of Indian Army, and in case his percentage of marks in engineering is beyond that of the cutoff which is there, he will be directly called without any written examination. He will be directly called for an interview, and in case he is recommended, medicals will be undertaken, and then he will get his appointment into the Indian Military Academy, right? Okay. So now moving to the Officers Training Academy, more concerned to the girls who are willing to join the army, because as of now, Officers Training Academy is the only place where lady cadets get trained, right? So in case you want to join the Officers Training Academy, there are multiple entries, wherein there is one entry called the National Cadet Corps Short Service Scheme, Special Entry Scheme, right? So National NCC entry is basically wherein you have to be a graduate first, then 2 years of service in NCC and a C certificate. Abhishek, I hope you are able to follow me here, since you had a doubt with respect to NCC, right? Okay, so the age limit is between 19 to 25. You fill the application, you are called for a SSB. In case you are fit, your medical tests are done, and in case you figure in the merit list, you will be sent to the Officers Training Academy to do your 1 year of training and then get commissioned as an officer, right? Okay. Moving forward, another entry which is available is the Short Service Commission Technical Entry for men and women both. wherein you have to be a technical graduate, that is an engineer, basically a BE or BTech. So you can apply for this SSC Tech Entry, and after you fill in the application form, again the percentage of your marks in your engineering, if it crosses the cutoff, then you will be called for the SSP followed by the medicals, and then your overall merit list will be there before you are sent to the Officers Training Academy, right? Similarly, entries of SSC non-tech is also there. Now, the important thing, somebody of you might be interested in becoming a lawyer. So, somebody who is a law graduate and wants to join the army as a lawyer, there is another opportunity which is provided by the JAG branch entry. That is the entry wherein law graduates are enrolled in the army. So, you have to have a degree of LLB or LLM, which should be registered with the Bar Council of India. And the notification for this comes in the employment newspaper as per the vacancies are there, right? So once you have filled in those application form, you will be called for a SSB interview followed by medicals, and the same procedure is there. So you go to the Officers Training Academy, right? Okay. So now I'll come to the opportunities for somebody who wants to become a doctor in the Indian Army. So the Armed Forces Medical College, which is there in Pune, offers that opportunity to the young medical professionals who are there, right? So basically there are three kind of entries for medical graduates. First, the AFMC, as you can see, the AFMC Pune Permanent Commission and Short Service Commission entry. So in this entry, you have to have minimum 60% of marks in your class 12th physics, chemistry and biology. In case you have that 60% of marks in PCB, you can enroll for the NEET UG written entrance exam, right? In case you clear this exam, your merit list is made, and then you are called to AFMC for your screening stroke interview, right? Once you have cleared that interview, your medical will be undertaken, and then a final merit list will come, and then you will do a 4 years MBBS course at AFMC Pune, which is one of the best engineering colleges in India, let me tell you. So in case you manage to join the AFMC Pune, nothing like it. So you must work hard to, as an endeavor to join the Armed Forces Medical College Pune, right? Okay. Now somebody who has already done an MBBS from some other college which might be there, and still he or she wants to join the Army Medical Corps as a doctor. So there is a entry which is called the Short Service Commission entry for the MBBS graduates, wherein you should be having a MBBS degree or a MD or MS degree, and your age must be under 30 years of age, and you have to forward the application to the certain authority which is there, which is available on the website as well. Post your screening and interview at Delhi, your merit list will be made and medical board will be done, and you will be commissioned as a Short Service Commission doctor in the Indian Army, right? Understood? Everybody with me? Thumbs up. The number of people on the video interface are decreasing steadily. So, nevertheless, okay. And the third entry is for the Army Dental Course. Somebody who wants to become a dentist, that there is another opportunity for them. So, you can again, you have to have a degree of, BDS or MDS, and maximum age is till 45 years of age. And you can again forward the application, and based on your interview and screening, you will be making part of a merit list, and you can join the Indian Army as a dentist, right? Okay. So generally these were the entries which were available for all the kind of students having all the kind of interests, and it is important to understand, since we have come to the conclusive part, it is important to understand that Indian Army is not only a job opportunity but a way of life. As I mentioned earlier also, it prepares you to live life in a fulfilling manner while performing the social as well as professional commitments. The camaraderie and belongingness amongst all ranks is incomparable, and welfare of dependents is also given priority, so that the combatants can perform their duties efficiently. So that in case you are performing your duties somewhere in the outskirts of the country, so your family is being taken care of, and they are given the best of the facilities, so that you can give your best wherever you are. Understood? Okay. The Indian Army as an organization has all the requisite QRs which a dynamic young potential leader might be looking forward to. Therefore, it is prudent to note that the young aspirants must prepare both physically and mentally to become a proud leader in one of the most competent and professionally sound organization in the country. It's very important as a officer in the Indian Army. I'll urge you all to keep yourself fit. Please indulge in some sports, good physical activities, trekking, hiking, so that whenever you get an opportunity to join Indian Army, you can do that at the best of your potential, right? Okay. So now I'll again be showing you all a video as a conclusion, wherein you will be able to see what are the kind of activities you might get an opportunity to undertake. So shall we move ahead? You are ready to watch the short video clip? Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we have reached the place where you can ask your questions, if any of you have any questions. Is anybody saying something, because I am not able to hear you properly? Onik, okay, Onik, I request you to just be a little bit louder so that I can hear you. Okay, yeah. So I'll tell you regarding first of all, what is a para commando. I'll tell you what is a para commando. Okay, so commando, the meaning of word commando is somebody who is made to do special operations, who has a higher level of endurance and physical fitness, as well as the mental endurance to undertake operations which might not be possible for somebody who is a normal individual, right? And para is a regiment of the Indian Army. It's part of infantry, and there is a difference between parachute regiment and parachute regiment special forces. So special forces are one part of any army of the world, wherein you get to do some special operations which are required as per the lay of the scheme of things which might be there. So in case you want to become a para commando, you need to first of all make yourself physically very fit, number one. Number two, you need to study and work hard so that you can reach the academy. You can become an officer first, because once you reach the academy, then only you will get an opportunity to choose which arm you want to opt for, right? So in case you get selected to join the army, you are there in a particular position wherein you can say that I want to join this particular arm. So let's say you get an opportunity to go into the parachute regiment. There you again will do a probation of close to 2 to 3 months, and once you are found fit, because it's a very deliberate and very tough selection procedure to become a para-commando. So in case you become, you are worthy of becoming a para-commando, you will be given a maroon beret, and then you can move around in Jammu and Kashmir and all the beautiful places on the outskirts of our country, right? So I hope, Onik, I was able to answer your question. Okay, anybody else?
Sir,
Yeah, Manya Singhal, yes.
sir, other than MBBS, what are the other opportunities for biology students in India?
Okay. So, as far as the medical or the Army Medical Corps is concerned, like I mentioned, there are 3 entries which are available. First of all, just after 12th, suppose you have done your physics, chemistry and biology, and you have scored 60% of marks, right? So you can give a NEET UG examination, wherein based on your rank, you will be called for the interview. That is number 1. Number 2, suppose let's say you do MBBS from any college of the country, maybe it a government college or for that matter a private college, you do a MBBS, you get the degree. So you can join as a short service commission officer, wherein you can apply, like I just mentioned in the slide, you can apply for the SSC entry for MBBS graduates, and you will again be called for an interview in case you are medically fit. You will be absorbed in the army, you will be trained for a certain while. Because a normal doctor and a doctor in the army, there is slight difference. Because in army there might be some situations in war and everything, wherein the role of a doctor, sometimes a doctor might be required to fire a weapon also, right? So first of all, anybody who is wearing the uniform, his primary duty is to fight the enemy, right? And then whatever expertise he or she might be having, based on that she can do it. And third, in case you want to become a dentist, that is also a good option which is available. So generally these are the 3 options. Apart from that, if you want to become a nurse, there is a military nursing services also which are available, right? So you can do a basic course in nursing diploma, and you can go and apply for the MNS entry which is there, which is the military nursing services, right? So that is also available at your disposal. So generally there are only 4 opportunities which are there, which I just mentioned, right? So I hope your doubt is clear. Okay. Yeah. So anybody else?
Sir,
Yeah. Yug Bhardwaj.
Sir, is mental strength is more important than physical strength for joining the Indian Army?
Definitely. See, mental strength is what? Suppose today you are, let's say, 60 kgs, right? And you are regularly going to the gym, you are running 5 kilometers in the morning, so you are physically fit. Let's say you don't follow that routine for 1 month, you will gain weight, you will not be able to run, you will not be able to play. And again, after 1 month of that practice, again your physical endurance and your strength will come back, right? So it's physical strength is something which keeps on going up and down, right? It's not constant. But what stays in your head, what is your mental endurance, that is formed by the kind of character you have. You should have that never say die attitude. You should have that kind of determination where you say that if I have to do a particular job or a particular task, I have to do it come what may, right? So mental endurance at any given point of time has higher priority than physical strength. Also, while you will go for your services selection board interview, there is hardly any physical test which is there. Nobody judges you on your physical strength, because they know that once you go to the academy where IMA and NDA and OTA, all these academies are there, you will be made physically fit by various means which are available, right? So physical strength or physical fitness is something which can be brought in one individual, but mental strength is something which has to be the primary focus. Understood? So that is one of the most important things. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
Sir,
Yes, Samriddhi. I am not able to see you.
sir, if you want to join army by sports, it is necessary that you have to be a national player or an Olympic player.
No, not necessary. What happens is, in case you want to join Indian Army from the sports quota, there are certain entries which are available. Specific entries come for sports person, right? Wherein anybody who has, not necessarily you should be having a national certificate, but a competent authority should have seen you performing well in some or the other state or the national, state or any other competent level, right? And then your trials will be conducted at the place where you are called with all the other aspirants or candidates who have come for the sports quota, right? In case you are able to perform as per the expectations of the army in front of all the candidates who have come, whoever are the best amongst the lot which has come, they are selected for the sports quota, right? But obviously somebody who is having who has performed well at a national level or a state level or any other level, he or she might be preferred, right? Okay. Okay, anybody else?
Sir, why Indian only for girl boys?
Ayushi. Sorry, I was not able to hear you.
Sir, why NDA is only for boys and not for girls?
Okay. See, NDA, first of all, in today's day and age, there is nothing, I am sure all of you would agree, and a lot of lady officers are also part of the Indian Army, and they are as competent as the male officers which are there, right? But see, there are certain issues with respect to the employability, right? For example, suppose a male officer is posted in a very, very remote and areas wherein you are likely to be having a combat with terrorists or somebody of that sort, wherein, you know, I'm not saying that ladies are not capable of fighting terrorists, but there are certain things which may not be conducive for the ladies initially. That is why as of now, in fact not as of now, let's say 20-30 years down the line, ladies were incorporated into the army as a supporting arm, so that they can do the staff duties, they can look after the logistics support, the communication part, on all those things, right? But slowly and steadily the ladies are being incorporated into the combat arms also, and it's not very far that ladies will start getting enrolled into the National Defence Academy as well. So it was by design, but as and when now we are progressing and we are becoming more liberal, we are becoming more modern, so opportunities are being explored for girls in all possible directions, right? So I hope I was able to answer your question. Okay, anybody else? Okay. Okay, last question. This will be the last question because your HOD computers will call me and tell me that I am taking a lot of time. Okay, so this might be our last question. Yeah.
Sir, why girls did not in Indian Navy?
Sorry.
Sir, why girls did not get any opportunity in Indian Navy?
No, it's not like that. In fact, maximum opportunities for girls are in Indian Navy only. If you talk about the Indian Navy, the percentage of officers, female officers, is maximum in Indian Navy in all the three services. So there are ample opportunities for somebody who wants to join Indian Navy as a sailor, or for that matter as a deck captain, or various other appointments and entries are available for Navy as well. So you have a lot of opportunities in Navy if in case you want to join Indian Navy. Vanshika, it's your question? Okay, so you can go and log into the Indian Navy website, and I'm sure you will be able to find a number of opportunities which are available for the girls who want to join the Indian Navy, right?
And sir, how we can join?
Acha, you want to join Indian Navy, right?
No, sir, but I want to know about that.
You want to know about Indian Navy? Okay. So, see, Indian Navy, the role of Indian Navy is very different from Indian Army, first of all, right? Indian Navy is responsible for ensuring the sovereignty of the naval borders which are available. In Navy, there are two broad entries which are there. First, the ground duties, and second, the technical entries, right? In case you want to join the ground duties, you can be any graduate. Then twice a year the notification comes on the Indian Navy website wherein you can join. You can, in case you have graduation, you can fill in for their application for the ground duty entry. You will be called for the again SSB, which will be conducted by the naval officers. SSB you have to clear in case you want to become officer in the tri-services, right? Be it Army, Navy or Air Force. You will be called for the services selection board, the Naval Selection Board, and followed by the medical, and it's the same everywhere. See, in case you want to join the Army, Navy or Air Force, it's absolutely same everywhere. All the procedure is same, just that the website changes. For entries with respect to Army, you will go to the Indian Army website. For the entries with respect to Navy, you will go to the Indian Navy website, and same goes for the Indian Air Force also. And generally the kind of entries are also same. For example, in case you have done NCCC certificate in naval wing, so you will get that opportunity in Navy, wherein you can go and join Indian Navy as a naval cadet also, where you will be called for SSB, and again you will be interviewed, medicals, merit, and then you go to the Naval Academy, which is present in Ezimala, Kerala. The Academy of Navy is there, right? And similarly, there are multiple entries, which will take a lot of time if I try to explain it to you in detail, right? So I think it was a very fulfilling experience for me to interact to all of you young students, and I hope that all of you would be inspired to join one of the best and most noble professions which are available in the country. And I wish you all the best. May God be with you in all the endeavors that you undertake, and take very good care of yourself in these tough times of COVID, and be very, very polite and gentle to your parents, and keep working hard. Okay? So I'll be bidding adieu, and see you later. Bye bye. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.